Well, after the tragic COVID-19 related deaths of two local first responders, there are now questions about whether their families will ever be able to collect all of their death benefits as part of workman's comp. Our Michael Gibson looked into that for us today. He says it's actually a statewide problem for families of first responders.
Over the past week, two of our first responders, including CCPD Senior Officer Chuck Williams, have died from COVID-19. When we asked City Manager Peter Zanoni about their deaths, he told us they did not die in the line of duty.
In both cases, the COVID was, they believe, was obtained outside of the employment, so it wasn't during the job.
That was certainly news to the president of the Corpus Christi Police Officers Association.
Now, I have an understanding that the city for first responders was going to presumptive positive, which means if an officer or a firefighter contracts it, it would be presumed that it would be covered under workman's comp.
Now, according to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, our state had 12 law enforcement officers who have died so far from COVID-19. That number was before our two local deaths were reported. Now, that group tracks COVID-19 deaths among law enforcement across the country, and its data shows that our state leads the entire nation in COVID-19 law enforcement deaths.
Remember when we were in a shutdown a couple of months ago and people were told to stay at home, we were still going to work. So I think you have to look at the whole picture from a 30,000 foot level. The exposure is maximized more so at work than it is when you're off duty sitting in your house. I don't think you can even compare the two.
Scott Leeton believes that all first responder COVID deaths should be considered in the line of duty. He also told us a story about Chuck Williams coming to him at the beginning of the pandemic and asking for more personal protection.
2 or 3 weeks before Easter, Chuck had expressed concern about COVID in general, not anything or one specific thing, but just about COVID in general. And so I know Chuck had taken precautions. We'd given him some masks and some gloves, hand sanitizer, along with all the other officers. So he was taking it very seriously.
So what are the benefits that are at stake? Well, we've been told that the state pays $500,000 for an in the line of duty death, and the federal government pays out $365,000 to the victims' families. Michael Gibson, 3 News.